So for the first time all year, we're going to get to see what the Eagles look like after a loss. And everybody, I mean almost everybody, has been writing the Eagles off, saying they're exposed, they're finished, or what are they going to do? And all I can say is, this is a job for the three Batmans.
You want a war? You're going to get one.
What was that? He had enough time for one more play.
He had an opportunity to win that game.
But the referee screwed us. The brother screwed us.
I'm upset, but
the brother screwed us.
At least they fought back and tried.
Only Cowboys game.
You literally.
The brother screwed us. The brother screwed us. We had an opportunity for one more play.
Dallas still stinks. Yo, by the way, King Dingbat here, and happy Football Friday to all you Dingbats out there. I hope each and every one of you guys are having a great day. And we're just 2 days away from the Eagles taking the field again and wiping that horrible taste from our mouth. Because I hate losing. I know you hate losing. The Eagles hate losing. Something we should never have done last week. Should have beat Washington. But it is what it is. Now, before we get into it, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, make sure you hit that like button. More importantly, make sure you subscribe for daily Eagles content, NFL content. You definitely don't want to miss it. And of course, if you've been subscribed for a while and you're an old G, just double moonwalk check. Make sure you're still subscribed. As you guys know, we will be streaming the Eagles Colts game this weekend. Also, right after the Eagles game is over, we will jump right into a doubleheader, and we will be watching Minnesota and the Cowboys. Should be an interesting game, so definitely look for that. Join me for that. It should be a lot of fun. Now, today we got the final injury report for the Eagles. And for the most part, except for the guys like Goddard who were injured for a while and on IR, the injury report was pretty clean. Here's what we got. So you have cornerback Josh Jobe, hamstring, did not practice, and he is going to be out. Then you have A.J. Brown, ankle, full practice. Britton Covey, thigh, full practice. Britton Covey, thigh. What about like head? You know what I mean? Because that guy takes some shots, man. Fletcher Cox, foot, full practice. Kelsey, ankle, full practice. Robert Quinn, back, full practice. Hassan Reddick, thigh, full practice. I feel like I'm ordering chicken wings here. Thigh, back, ankle. Devontae Smith, knee, full practice. So, A.J. Brown, Devontae Smith will be ready to go this weekend versus the Colts. And that's a really good sign. It definitely is. Now, this game, is really interesting for a couple reasons. One, this is the first time we've seen the Eagles lose all year. So the Eagles are coming off of a loss, and everybody wants to see how they're going to respond. How are they going to respond? And it kind of is quite shocking to me, if I'm going to be 100% honest with you, the amount of people that took one Eagles loss to a divisional opponent, which happens, and act like, oh man, the Eagles are exposed, they're done, they're finished. You would think the Eagles have lost like 5 straight in a row or something like that. They got one loss. They're 8-1. Now, this is significant in that the NFC is up for grabs still. You have Minnesota breathing down our necks. I mean, they're 7-1. They only lost to us, so they're essentially a half game out of that number 1 seed. So the Eagles have to go out and they have to take care of business. And then, of course, in the division, you have the Giants who are just 1 game out, but they get to play the Eagles twice. So there's no room for error. Okay, there's no room for another hiccup like we had versus Washington. And we talked about the Washington game, man. Everything had to go right for Washington. Everything had to go wrong for the Eagles in order for that to happen. And you saw it. 4 turnovers, Quez Watkins fumbling after a big... I swear, if Quez Watkins catches that ball, and does not fumble it, I think the Eagles go in and score a touchdown and they probably win the game. And we're probably saying that was a close one. And then you probably have no Linval Joseph and you have no Suh. That's probably what would happen. There's no way I believe that Suh or Joseph get signed to the Eagles if the Eagles pull that game out. But the fact that they didn't, it means the Eagles had to do something. Now, it looks like my guess is Linval Joseph will probably get some snaps and play. I don't know about Suh, okay? But you just added two huge guys to this defensive line. This should definitely help our running game. Should help our rotation. Hell, it could even help us in sacks and interior pressure because Suh had 6 sacks last year, okay? Say what you want about the guy. He's older. He still can rush the passer. I think, of course, these were great moves by the Eagles. I don't know if it's going to impact us right away. It may take 3 or 4 games before we really see the difference. But when we look at this game this weekend, another interesting part of this game is, of course, Frank Reich was fired. So Frank Reich gets fired, and Jeff Saturday becomes the head coach. That was truly a wild thing. Jeff Saturday, excuse me, I have to get a drink. Allergies are bothering me today. Pinky up, though. Always have pinky up when you drink. Always. It means you got class. You just need a pinky ring. I'm going to get a big-ass pinky ring. And you'll see it, because that thing will be like this. Your eyes will be going like that. You're like, it hurt my eyes. Hell yeah, that's Philly 500's pinky ring. Denzel style, So, anyways, Saturday coaching the Colts it's an interesting twist. Nobody saw that coming. You could see Frank Reich getting fired, but to hire Jeff Saturday, it's kind of crazy. Now, one of the things I think that it really benefits the Colts for, especially in this game, is he knows the offensive line. He knows how to coach offensive line. He played there for years. And he is probably most likely going to favor running the ball. Okay? Which, when you look at this game, and you look at the teams that the Eagles are going to play, we've got some good running backs on the way. We got Jonathan Taylor this week. We're going to have Derrick Henry. We're going to have Saquon Barkley. We got some guys. I'm not going to say Zeke Elliott because he's fat. Fat Zeke don't count. Pollard, he's okay. I think Pollard's slightly above average. But we got some really good backs we're playing. And why would any team go out and play the Eagles any differently than the Houston Texans and the Washington Commanders with this? Always getting text when I'm doing this. All day I don't get text until I start filming. But, why would any team do the opposite of what the Texans and Washington did? It's going to be up to the Eagles and this defense on stopping the run, okay? Now, you may say, well, the Eagles did an okay job stopping the run against Washington. They only averaged, it was like 3.9 yards per carry, stuff like that. And I'll say this to you. The purpose of Washington, one of the reasons they ran the ball so much, and one of the things the Eagles have to do a better job on defense, is you have to be better on first and second down. You have to be better. You can't allow teams to be third and short all the time. Third and short is a high percentage of teams converting on third down. You want them in third and long. So when I say third and long, I say anything over 3rd and 5. So even 3rd and 6 is like I wouldn't consider really 3rd and long. But let's say 3rd and 7 and longer, right? I think you got to put them in position like that. If they're in 3rd and 4, 3rd and 3, 3rd and 2, 3rd and 1. So Washington's averaging 3.9 yards a carry. So they run on first down, there's 3 yards. Run on second down, there's 3 more yards. All of a sudden, it's 3rd and 4. And that's what the Colts are going to try to do. Matt Ryan doesn't scare me. I think he's shot. And really, the best quarterback on the Colts team is sitting on the bench in Nick Foles, but they won't even take a look at him. Now, that would have been really fascinating if you had Nick Foles going up against the Eagles, but it's not the case. But the Colts are going to come out and they're going to want to run the ball. And if they don't, they're crazy, especially with Jonathan Taylor. He had a great game last week. The Eagles have allowed 120 plus yards 5 straight games. It's like 4.6 yards a carry. I think we're second worst in run defense right now. We've got to get better at that. We've got to be better. You've got to make sure that you get the Colts in 3rd and long. Keep them in 3rd and 9, 3rd and 8. Keep them in 3rd and long. You'll be able to get pressure on Matt Ryan, who's old and slow, and you should be able to rack up some sacks. Now, a lot of what we're talking about is going to depend on Jonathan Gannon. Will this defensive coordinator adjust? Because I believe the Eagles have the personnel, even before the 2 signings of Joseph and Suh. I think they have the personnel to be able to do everything they want to do. I just don't think the coach puts them in great positions, okay? You see a lot of 5-2 sets, right? There was even times where you had one linebacker out there, and Washington's running the ball. The Eagles they've got to do better in personnel matchups. They got to do better against the run. Call some run blitzes. Blitz. Don't be afraid to put pressure on Matt Ryan. He's old and he's a statue. But a lot of it is going to be dependent on Jonathan Gannon. That's what I'm most interested in seeing, is how does the defensive coordinator change his ways? Where does he accept responsibility and change his ways and how he was doing things? Because it wasn't working against Washington. And I never understand the philosophy that you go out there and you allow a team to keep doing the same thing. And you make no adjustments and you try nothing different to get a team out of rhythm. Putting a NFL offense that gets into rhythm is always a problem. You want a quarterback not to be in rhythm. And the Colts are going to come out. They're going to try to run the ball, Jonathan Taylor. And if they do that and they're in 3rd and short, it's going to be a lot closer game than it should be. Now, if the Eagles can stop that and get the Colts into some 3rd and long situations, this thing's a wrap, because then you're playing to the strength. Now, I like Michael Pittman Jr. He's a good receiver for the Colts. I even like this kid Pierce. He's been pretty good. So I think they got some decent receivers. I just don't trust the man delivering the ball. I think he's shot. So I want to force the Colts to have to throw the ball at me. That's what I want to do. And you're going to have to stop the run and Jonathan Taylor. To me, if you do that, everything else that happens is a wrap. You're going to win the game, okay? And then offensively, when you look at the Eagles going up against the Colts defense, Colts defense isn't bad. They're one of the better defensive teams against the run. And I think the Eagles need to get back to the run, okay? I think they need to get back, and this is a good test for them, okay? Now, Kwity Paye is out for the Colts, so that's not going to help them. But I think that the Colts, they're going to want to shut down the run, and they're going to want to get at Jalen Hurts. That's going to be the question. I'd like to see the Eagles run the ball more with Miles Sanders, because even though the Colts can stop the run and good at it, I still think the Eagles, if they apply themselves and they actually do it, I think they'll be able to run the ball just fine. There's no reason why Miles Sanders should have only 1 carry in the first half. That is completely unacceptable, Another matchup that's interesting for the Eagles offense is going to be A.J. Brown and Stephon Gilmore. That is a very, very interesting matchup. I think with Goddard out and Gilmore on Brown, I think this is going to be open. I think this is going to open everything up for my man Devontae Smith. I expect Devontae Smith to have a monster game going over 100 yards this week. He's been getting receptions, but his yards haven't been great. A lot of short stuff to him and things like that. But I expect Devontae Smith to go off this week, okay? I really do. Listen, to me, this is going to be all about the Eagles and them coming in and being ready to play and focused, and then, making the adjustments that you had to make. So it's going to be an interesting matchup. I trust Jalen Hurts 100%. I ain't worried about Jalen Hurts. I thought Jalen Hurts was good enough last week for us to win. I don't blame anything what happened last week on him. I expect him to have a pretty good game this week. The Colts do allow almost 70% completion percentage against their defense. So they're very, very tough against the run. They give up passing yards. So I think a guy like Devontae Smith, even A.J. Brown, Stephon Gilmore's on him. I don't think anybody can stop A.J. Brown. But I do think this is a game where, you're inside. I think this is a perfect opportunity for a guy like Devontae Smith to go off. And I think he will. Also watch for Quez Watkins to have a big game and not fumble the ball this time. But the Eagles, if they win this game, once again, you're back on track. you're 9-1. And I'll say this, prediction-wise, I think the Eagles are going to win this game. I think the Eagles are going to win this game 28-13. That's what I have. I think the Eagles will come back. I think they will play the run a lot better, and I think the Eagles, I think they'll take the lead early in this game, and I don't think they'll look back. I think this is going to be a good win for the Eagles to get back on track, and they'll go to 9-1. Now, as far as the rest of the division, you have Dallas playing Minnesota. To me, that's a tough game for the Cowboys. Cowboys have to find a way to win this game. Otherwise, they're going to have lost 2 straight. They dropped to 6-4. They're going to Minnesota, going to play a 7-1 Minnesota Vikings team. I think Minnesota's going to win this game. I just don't think Dallas has the offense to keep up with Minnesota. So I like Minnesota this game. And then you have the Giants. They're playing the Detroit Lions. I expect the Lions to stink it up. I think the Giants win that game, so the Giants will remain 1 game behind us. Now here's what I want. I want Minnesota to beat Dallas. So Dallas has lost 2 straight, and then of course I'll root for Detroit, but that's not going to happen. And then I assume New York's going to win. Now New York and Dallas play Thanksgiving Day. They're going to play a big game on Thanksgiving Day. At that point, Dallas is going to be going into that game with 2 straight losses, okay? At that point, and I know it's hard to do, but what's best for the Eagles is for Dallas to actually beat the Giants on Thanksgiving Day. Then the Eagles beat Tennessee the Sunday, and then all of a sudden the Eagles are once again 2 games up on the New York Giants. But who knows what's going to happen? Because I think we got to remember, this is Cowboys choke season. And if somehow the Dallas Cowboys lose to Minnesota and then they lose to the Giants on Thanksgiving, they're done. They're done. It's going to be big trouble for them. So we'll see what happens. Like I said, I will be streaming this weekend, so come look for that. And with that said, take care. Talk to you later. Of course, don't be a dingbat. Remember, it's Howie Vision. We're all just living in it. Man, I'm so bad. It's like I got no respect for Washington or something. You know, I got no respect for them. How dare me? How dare me actually talk about the rest of the division and then actually leave out a team? It's because of the name. Commanders with that stupid logo. It just doesn't fit the NFC East. It doesn't. It just looks like Canadian Football League to me. You know, but Washington actually plays Houston this week in Houston, coming off a big win. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say they're going to get a huge upset this week. I'm going to say the Texans beat Washington because Washington's going to be feeling good about themselves coming off a Monday night. They travel to Houston. I think they're going to get punched in the mouth and not realize what happened. So I'm going to take Houston in the big upset versus the Washington Commanders. With that said, Denzel Washington out.